Former 10th Doctor companion Martha Jones is going to face off against the witch-like Carrionites once again in the new book, The Doctor and the Three Witches. But before I go and read that book, I wanted to review Martha's full history with the Carrionites, and that starts in London, 1599. On Martha's very first trip with the Doctor through time, she is very enthusiastic and inquisitive about the whole experience, asking questions about like how the TARDIS works and if she needs to be worried about the butterfly effect.
What's wrong?
They see a performance of Love Labour's Lost at the newly opened Globe Theatre, which is well renowned throughout history for being the theatrical home of the works of William Shakespeare. After the show, Shakespeare spontaneously announces that tomorrow night he's going to debut his new show, a sequel, Love Labour's 1. Knowing that this show is a lost play to history, there are records that it existed, but no script has ever been found. The Doctor and Martha decide to stick around for a while to see what comes of this. They introduce themselves to Shakespeare at an inn later that night, and Shakespeare is very quickly taken in with Martha.
Sweet lady.
The vibe is fun for Martha's first trip through time, until the Master of Revelries of the Globe Theatre screams from the street and is found dead, having drowned. In Martha's arms as she tries her best to revive him, he coughs up a massive amount of water before dying. And this comes just minutes after he said he will not allow Love Labour's 1 to be performed at the theatre.
If it's the last thing I do, Love Labour's 1 will never be played.
Later that night, Martha and the Doctor are awoken by a scream coming from Shakespeare's room. They rush down and see that the innkeeper has died of a heart attack, and when Martha looks out the window, she sees a cackling witch flying away on a broom into the night sky. Shakespeare says that he has heard the architect of the Globe Theatre talk about witches before, so the next morning they make their way to the Globe Theatre and inspect the site in person. The Doctor wonders aloud what could possibly be significant about 14 sides built into the theater, and it's Martha that makes the connection that there are also 14 lines in a sonnet, making a physical manifestation of the power of words, and this gets the Doctor's head thinking. They go to Bedlam Hospital with Shakespeare to visit the architect who has since been interred there after his ordeal with the witches. Martha is absolutely and rightly disgusted by the treatment of patients in Bedlam Hospital. They are whipped and they are kept locked away with no real medical attention brought to them. It's more like a prison. They go into the cell with the architect, and as he is telling details to the Doctor and co about the witches, one of the witches appears out of thin air in the cell, and Martha watches as right in front of her eyes the witch murders the architect by putting her finger to his heart and giving him a heart attack. The Doctor is able to banish the witch by naming her
Creature, I name you Carrionite,
an alien species that can manipulate reality around them through the power of words, much how humans can understand the world through mathematics and physics and chemistry. They can manipulate the world just through the power of well-chosen words. They realize that the Carrionites have influenced Shakespeare to write the spell that they need to revive their empire into the end of Love Labour's 1. While the two elder witches sit in the box seats of the Globe Theatre, much like Statler and Waldorf at the Muppets show, Shakespeare tries to stop the play.
Cancel the next number!
But they use their voodoo doll of him to let the play continue. Meanwhile, Martha and the Doctor go to find the witch's hideout based on the information that they got from the architect. On the way, Martha has her new companion of the Doctor question of, well, I know the world doesn't end in 1599 because I'm from the future, so does this even matter at all? And the Doctor needs to explain to her, like he has with other companions of the past and again in his future, that time is malleable. He explains it through the Back to the Future movie, saying that Marty McFly goes back in time and changes the past and starts to disappear, only he says that it will be all of humanity's future that starts to disappear. Yeah, no pressure, Martha. They enter the witch house and Martha tries to banish them by naming them as Carrionites, but the witch says that power can only be used once. Like this.
I gaze upon this bag of bones, and now I name thee Martha Jones.
She wakes up just in time to see the witch stab a voodoo doll of the doctor, and he collapses on the ground. It takes Martha a moment, as she's dazed from her own attack from the witches, to remember that the doctor has two hearts. So for a moment, she believes that she just watched the magical murder of her new friend in front of her very eyes. Now, of course, he does have two hearts, so he's fine. But for a moment, that's pretty damn traumatizing. Martha helps jumpstart his second heart, and the two run to the Globe Theater. They see people fleeing in terror as the Carrionite's portal has been opened. The rest of the banished Carrionite race begins to pour into the earth. Martha is right alongside him on stage as the doctor encourages Shakespeare, the finest wordsmith in perhaps all of history, to make a speech, improvise something that will close the Carrionite's portal. She even helps Shakespeare finish his rhyme with a word that will later be invented by a book series that was popular in the present of Martha's time, and she's from a time before we knew that the writer of the book was a god-awful bigot. Martha then takes a bow with Shakespeare as the Globe's audience cheers. The doctor locates the crystal ball that the Carrionites have now been trapped within. As Shakespeare tries one more time to flirt with Martha,
I don't know how to tell you this, oh great genius, but your breath doesn't half stink.
She and the doctor need to flee the scene as Queen Elizabeth arrives and declares the doctor her mortal enemy as she has her men chase him back into the TARDIS, and he doesn't even know why yet. This adventure proves to the doctor that he should keep Martha around as a companion, even though he is still mourning the loss of Rose Tyler.
Martha Jones, you saved the world.
Yes, I did.
But for Martha, this must have really been an experience of being thrown in on the deep end, as suddenly her entire human race and history and planet was at stake. She witnesses traumatizing events, and she's personally attacked by this magic, which would explain why she is so shaken up when she comes face to face with the Carrionite crystal ball once again many years later. The 10th Doctor would hold on to the crystal ball in a chest in his TARDIS for quite some time, with screams of the Carrionite still audible as he goes to find something else to show his later companion, Donna Noble. Petronella Osgood later records that the Carrionite crystal ball is dropped off to Unit's Black Archive under the Tower of London by the Doctor, the tall one with the impossible hair, as she puts it in her report. Many years later, in 2026, many objects from the Doctor's history begin appearing in the Black Archive, corrupted by some kind of blue, static, unnatural chronal energy, and this energy will later bounce onto and infect the Carrionite crystal ball as well. Because these objects were being pulled from various points within the Doctor's own history, there is now the chance that his own timeline is being shifted and changed and corrupted. So it's Osgood's new assistant, Andrew, that comes up with the idea of recruiting the very earliest incarnation of the Doctor that they know about to help with this situation, the Fugitive Doctor.
Hello, I'm the Doctor.
And she reluctantly agrees to help. However, neither Unit nor the Fugitive Doctor have ever dealt with the Carrionites before, so Osgood reaches out to someone who has as a consult, former Unit member and former companion of the Doctor himself, Martha Jones.
This is Dr. Jones. Operation Blue Sky is go, go, go.
Rose Noble in Unit HR reactivates Martha's Unit ID card, and the stage is set for Martha Jones to meet the Fugitive Doctor. Martha Jones arrives at the Tower of London in the early afternoon and is approved for entry into the Black Archive. She meets Osgood in her office and finds that Osgood is looking positively disheveled after dealing with the Fugitive Doctor and the potential unraveling of all of time and space for the past several days. Martha reports that she read all of the files that Unit sent over about the disruptive energy unraveling time and on the Fugitive Doctor herself, which was compiled by another former companion of the Doctor, Yaz. Osgood confides that other than just wanting Martha's input on the Carrionites, she would also appreciate the help of a former companion in working with the Fugitive Doctor. The Fugitive Doctor is unlike any other Doctor that Osgood has worked with in the past. She's early in her timeline, on the run from her own people, and not yet the hero that the Doctor would become.
Frankly, darling, I was busy in a different story.
Martha asks to meet her. Osgood leads Martha to the TARDIS, outside of which her assistant, Andrew, is chatting with the Fugitive Doctor. Martha introduces herself, saying that they'll eventually meet around the Doctor's 10th regeneration.
What was your name?
Martha?
The Fugitive Doctor seems wary about discussing her future selves, but jokes it off by asking if she'll still be as good looking. And Martha confirms that indeed the 10th Doctor is, quote, too good looking for your own good. After Andrew leaves to catch up on some much needed sleep, the Fugitive Doctor thanks Osgood for repairing the TARDIS's shields, which were apparently sabotaged by someone before Martha arrived. Martha, Osgood, and the Fugitive Doctor take the lift down into the deep storage of the Black Archive. There, Martha is petrified to once again hear a chant of something that she once heard many years ago.
I gaze upon this bag of bones, and now I name thee Martha Jones.
She walks straight to the crystal ball containing the Carrionite witches that she and the 10th Doctor defeated so long ago in London of 1599. The Fugitive Doctor takes an instinctual dislike to the Carrionite crystal ball, but Osgood finds herself entranced by it, seeing patterns and symbol in the smoke that lure her closer and closer, until the ball contains the visage of a weeping angel that reaches out for her. Luckily, the spell is broken by the Fugitive Doctor, who uses a sonic screwdriver that she found lying around on the shelves. Osgood says that the weeping angel she saw in the orb is specifically the one being held captive by a mirror in the Black Archive, one that appeared suddenly with the corruptive blue energy that they've been dealing with crackling all around it. As they are talking about the angel, they hear the sound of the mirror that was holding it shatter. Osgood immediately tries to have the level that they're on locked down to prevent the Weeping Angel from just running amok, but her command is overridden by apparently her own order. The saboteur has struck again. The elevator to the level then opens, and Andrew starts whistling as he walks down the aisles, blissfully unaware until he sees the Weeping Angel. The Doctor tells him not to blink as they run over to him.
Don't turn your back, don't look away, and don't blink.
They all watch as the Weeping Angel starts feeding off the blue chronal energy crackling around it and growing stronger. It uses the energy to lash out with light, forcing everyone to quickly cover their eyes lest they be temporarily blinded. But in that 1 second that they cover their eyes, the angel has moved a whole meter closer. Then it shoots that energy at the light fixture above them, sending sparks raining down and burning them all. Smoke begins to fill the area as the light begins to fall down. The Fugitive Doctor pushes Martha out of the way at the nick of time, but the light strikes Andrew, knocking him completely unconscious. Smoke continuing to fill the aisle as Martha does her best to keep her eyes on that angel to keep it locked in place. The Doctor grabs the unconscious Andrew as she, Martha, and Osgood book it out of the aisle, which is now completely shrouded in smoke. They have all lost sight of the Weeping Angel and look around as best they can to try to get someone to have eyes on it. But the Weeping Angel is a smart assassin. It climbs the shelves and descends down on them from above, the Doctor catching it just in the moment that it is about to touch Andrew. The Fugitive Doctor, thinking quickly, shoves the Carrionite orb into the Angel's hand. The reflective surface means that the Angel is now looking at a reflection of itself. But when the crackling blue energy around both the Carrionite crystal ball and the Weeping Angel touch, there's a flash of light, and Martha and Osgood, the only two conscious and aware of the situation, look on in horror as they see the Fugitive Doctor is now trapped within the Carrionite crystal ball. That is where we have been left off the story up to the point of the beginning of the Doctor and the three witches, which will see the Fugitive Doctor inside the Carrionite crystal ball, and Osgood and former companion Martha Jones outside it to try their best to save the Doctor. I just think that this is a cool return of Martha Jones. It makes sense that she would be back for this kind of story. They need someone to consult about the Carrionites. She's faced the Carrionites before. And let's just forget that the 14th Doctor is chilling at the home of a unit employee. Let's just forget about that. Let's bring Martha back in here because that's cool as hell. I can't wait to see more interactions between Martha and the Fugitive Doctor, and just more expansion of Martha's character. She is a phenomenal companion, and I'm excited to see what Circuit Breaker continues to do with her. Well, thank you so much for watching this little recap before the new Doctor Who story. I'm excited to read it. I've been enjoying Circuit Breaker on the whole so far. Some stories are better than the others, but overall, I've really been enjoying the further exploration of the Fugitive Doctor as a character. If you want to see other videos about that, I did one right here that you can check out, and I'll probably be doing a few more in the weeks to come. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, have a good week.